our favorite GX character is back. Yo, what is going on, you guys? bashtianygo here, and today, guys, before we go ahead and start, I just want to go ahead and say I have not watched a single GX episode in my life. No, that's not true. I watched 1 or 2 episodes, especially the one with Balowski with Moki things. That great episode, by the way. But anyway, I just want to go ahead and get that out of the way before I misspeak anything about Yubel in the anime. But this is not what Yubel in the anime is all about. We're talking about Yubel TCG Yu-Gi-Oh cards that were just released from Phantom Nightmare just recently, guys. It was the cover card for Phantom Nightmare, and we should have paid more attention. This deck is actually super crazy, and by that I mean I'm not saying it's gonna be tier 1. I'm not saying it's gonna be the top of row. We already made videos on those decks. If you guys have not seen them, make sure you check them out right over here. Links in the description, yada yada yada. Cards in the top left or right hand corner. So what I want to get to you guys is Yubel is actually a viable deck, and by viable I mean it is playable. The deck itself has an in-archetype card that searches super polymerization for free. All you gotta do is summon Yubel a bunch of times, which is very easy to do with this deck. It's actually surprisingly easy to do, and in addition you also have an in-archetype super polymerization card that helps you fuse into the brand new fusion Yubel monster that is absolutely bananas, guys, and you guys will definitely are going to want to go ahead and stick around for this. I'm going to show you guys a quick basic combo. Just go ahead and see what the bare minimum that Yubel can do, which honestly left my jaw complete on the floor, considering that this deck again searches a in-archetype super polymerization, which given the summoning conditions of the Yubel card that was recent, of the Yubel fusion I should say, that was recently released, gives you the opportunity to fuse away your opponent's entire field, any Yubel monster you control, and then with that being said, you guys are going to be able to go ahead and summon out an amazing fusion boss monster for the deck. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do that right now. Before we get started, guys, make sure you guys check the links in the description, guys. Check out the whatnot link if you guys have not checked it out already for a free 15 bucks off your first purchase. Off any purchase, you can go ahead and stack it up, I'm pretty sure, as well. It doesn't cover shipping, but it's free money, so why not? So here we are, guys, in our testing sphere, testing verse, guys. We are on EDO Pro. We are not looking at Dark Beckoning Beast. Get that crap out of here. We are doing that Samsara D Lotus, another rework of a card that was really old. I do not remember what the old one was, but it doesn't matter what the old one was because Samsara D Lotus is a crazy card and the main starter for this whole deck. Basically, this card reads: contribute this card, special summon a Yubel monster from deck. And then during your opponent's turn, when a monster effect is activated and you control a Yubel monster, you contribute this card. Its effect becomes destroy 1 Yubel monster in the field, which of course then gets you further and further into your Yubel hybrids or evolutions, if you will, like an Eevee. Yubel is like Eevee, exactly the exact same card. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and normal summon out the Samsara and go out our Spirit of Yubel, one of the brand new Yubel main deck monsters that we're getting, and this card's actually really good. A lot of the support that we're getting is really good. Also, just want to go ahead and point out that this back here is definitely Hogwarts or Disney World. As it definitely doesn't look like what's it called? What's the Duel Academy? Is that what it's called? I didn't watch GX. If you let me know in the comments, please. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and activate the Spirit of Yubel's on summon effect to be able to go ahead and get out the, what's this called, Nightmare Pain directly from our deck. So we can set it to our field or add it to our hand in the event we want to go ahead and play around Droll and Lockbird, so why not? So we're going to go ahead and activate the Nightmare Pain directly from our fields, and this allows us to, during the main phase, destroy one face-up dark monster or one dark monster from our hand or field, and if we do, add 1 Yubel or 1 card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, which of course is really good as well. And then it also has the additional secondary effect where while you control a Yubel monster, any Yubel monster I should say, opponent's monsters must attack Yubel monsters, period. And then your opponent takes any battle damage from damage you were taken with those battles, including Yubel monsters, which is really nice, of course. We're going to go ahead and activate the effect, destroy our Spirit of Yubel, to go ahead and add to our hand, guys. So we can go ahead and add the Eternal Favorite from our deck, which is the exact card we're going to be going ahead and adding. Eternal Favorite is a crazy card. We're not going to get to that one just yet. We're going to actually go ahead and finish off by activating the Spirit of Yubel's effect to summon out Yubel to our side of the field. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So we're gonna go ahead and set Eternal Favorite, which is a crazy card, the in archetype super polymerization, which says once per turn you can activate one of the following effects. First effect, you can special summon any Yubel monster that is banished or in your graveyard. Now the player can activate cards when that monster is special summoned. And then the next effect, guys, is the crazy one where it says if you control Yubel, discard one card and send this face up card to the graveyard. Cost. That is cost. Fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck. Fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from either field as material, including a Yubel monster. So you already have the Yubel monster, guys. You're just gonna go ahead and let your opponent combo off, do whatever they want to do, special summon, bring back from the grave Flamberge Dragon, special summon 2 more Snake Eyes, and once they're about to get to an Omni Negate or a Spell Trap Negate or any type of nonsense that you think would destroy you, you go ahead and flip this face up, discard a card, 4 costs, send this to the graveyard, which you're chilling at that point, and then on top of that you're going to fuse away the entire board, get everything out of here, and you're going to be able to go ahead and summon out the Yubel, the Loving Defender Forever, which is a crazy fusion monster directly from your extra deck by again wiping your opponent's board. So you're special summoning this card for free, all your cost is destroy your opponent's board. And that's it, and that's all part of the effect, which is crazy. This Yubel fusion monster says, if this card is fusion summoned, you inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each material used. So for example, if you use Yubel plus 5 monsters your opponent controls, that's 6 monsters, your opponent takes 3,000 points of damage, which is a crazy amount of damage effect right off the bat, just to go ahead and start things off, which is the equivalent, of course, of 2 Heavy Burger burn effects. So let's go ahead and move on. Simple math here and there. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Done. Also, you take no battle damage from battles involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card battle opponent's monster, which if we have Nightmare Pain up on our board, this is going to be mandatory. Inflict damage equal to your opponent inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack, and if you do, banish that monster, which is crazy. So not only is it non-targeting banish, your opponent's taking all the damage, and honestly this is really scary, guys, to the point where you let your opponent combo off, you fuse all their crap away, and then you're left with this, and if they have any type of monsters left, or special summon anything, whatever it might be, they are forced to attack into the Yubel Loving Defender Forever, which is wild to think about, guys. I think this deck has a lot of potential. Honestly, I think it'd be a lot of fun, especially for us GX watchers out there, not including myself. But again, it's not an overly complicated strategy. I think it's one that's easy to learn. It doesn't seem too hard to master either. Realistically, you just have to be wise about when you activate the Eternal Favorites. You just have to make sure that you're aware of more or less what your opponent likes to do. The second your opponent gets 2 Fluandries birds onto the board, you tribute that thing away and you fusion summon the crap out of it, so then you don't have to deal with any Fluandries nonsense. Also, in the event you're going up against like Snake Eyes, you just gotta hit them at their most inconvenient point. I say right before they go into Promethean Princess maybe, but you gotta make sure you do it after they already activate the Flamberge Dragon effect or summon out Flamberge Dragon, because if you don't, then they just go ahead and summon out afterwards and they go full combo regardless. So it's something to keep in mind. Honestly, I think it's pretty cool. But let's get into the deck list. So for the deck list, guys, I have 1 copy of Yubel Ultimate Nightmare, 1 copy of Terra Incarnate, and 1 copy of regular Yubel, because we are going to be summoning all these out through the duration of the duel, potentially even in turn 1 as well, so it is something worth considering. 3 copies of Spirit of Yubel, 3 copies of Dark Beckoning Beast, 1 copy of Unchained Soul Shrivara, because this does play very well with the Fiend aspect of the Yubel strategy, which is really nice. Of course, you can go ahead and summon out Yama, do some shenanigans that way as well. You don't need a really big package, but I think anywhere from 2 to 4 Unchained cards can actually be really helpful in this deck. 3 copies of Samsara D Lotus, 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Nib, 3 copies of Drone Lockbird. I did want to go ahead and play 3 Nib, but realistically 2 is just fine, 3 is a bit too bricky, so that's kind of the ratios for that, as well as 3 Imperm. Now for the spells, we play 3 copies of Nightmare Pain. Of course, this card is absolutely crazy. 1 copy of Mature Chronicle, which if you get 5 counters on this card, basically you summon Yubel 5 times, then you get to add Super Polymerization from your deck to your hand specifically for free, which is crazy to think about, that this deck searches Super Polymerization. It also searches an Archetype Super Polymerization, rotation, so a lot of really good things going for the deck as well. 2 copies of Trapper Tactics Thrust and 1 copy of Talents. I think it's going to be the best ratio for you. You can also go ahead and just opt to play the Called by the Grave, and for consistency you can go ahead and play cards like Prosperity as well. Then 2 copies of Opening of the Spirit Gates, which of course works very well with the Dark Beckoning Beast, being a 0/0 0 attack 0 defense Dark Fiend, which we need for the deck regardless. 3 copies of Super Polymerization, 1 copy of 1/1 of course, 3 copies of Imperm, 1 copy of Escape Unchained, and 2 copies of Eternal Favorite, because realistically we are going to be summoning out this fusion as much as we possibly can, and 2 does not seem bad. I really want to go ahead and play the fusion at 3, but realistically guys, I think that the extra deck is where it needs to be. But let's go ahead and get into that next. So we're gonna have for the extra deck 1 Almirage, 1 Linkuriboh, 1 Muckraker, 1 Unchained Soul of Rage, 1 Hida, 1 Dark, 1 Yama, 1 copy of Appaloosa, Underworld Goddess, because Underworld Goddess is crazy good of course, and this deck really spams out monsters like it's nothing. Like it's no one's business. The deck just spams out a bunch of monsters, which is really good of course. So having Underworld Goddess is going to be huge as far as letting us get over some really irritating monsters that we don't want to go ahead and deal with. For other super poly targets guys, we play 1 Mud Dragon, 1 Garura, 1 Draco Equiste Super Clutch going up against Vanadium, 1 copy and 2 copies of the Yubel Forever Defender Forever, whatever it might be. So honestly, I think Yubel has a decent amount of potential in the rogue tier for Yu-Gi-Oh guys, which is honestly a lot further than Yubel has ever been realistically. Even way back in the day, I don't remember Yubel ever being that good. So honestly, I think it has potential. I think it has the opportunity. Given the opportunity, it can surprise a lot of people, because I don't think many people know what it does. And realistically guys, if you guys want more confirmation the deck is good, it actually just top 8'd regional if I'm not mistaken this past weekend, so definitely go ahead and check out that deck profile. See if I can go ahead and leave some type of link for that in the description down below. But without further ado guys, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe down below. Check out the Whatnot link as well for a free 15 bucks, and I'll see you guys in the next one.